Hi there, I'm Justin Pritchard. This is the new Mercedes CLA 250, and in this video, spoiling yourself on a relative budget.
Oh, nice! Did you see that?
This is the Mercedes CLA 250, and I'll be calling it the CLA for short, and that roughly translates to Sports Compact Luxury in Mercedes nomenclature, and the 250 references the engine performance level, and the 4MATIC means all-wheel drive, and now you know. I've put this CLA 250 4MATIC on your screen because it is a great example of how far your roughly 40 to 50,000 Canadian dollars can go today if you're shopping something in a premium brand but don't want to go too crazy with the checkbook. One reason I think it's great bang for your bucks is that Mercedes has been on a kick lately of putting really good interiors into even their most affordable cars. A lot of styling and tech and touches from much pricier Mercedes models can be found here, and that's what's really left me impressed with these affordable Mercedes models lately. The other one I'll mention is this A220 from the past winter, and it's not perfect, and neither is the CLA that we'll be getting back to in a moment. In the dead of winter testing in the snow and ice, I came away from the A220 wishing for a bit more power and a smoother transmission, actually, in some situations, but beyond a few little gripes and the fact that it's not a very large car, it is actually just so bang on to look at and to sit in and to drive, especially in the snow and on some good tires. To me, for the dollar, this was a really impressively dialed-in machine, and especially that interior. So the A220, or A-Class, is the entry model from Mercedes, and like this CLA 250, it's priced in the sort of high 30s to low 50s ballpark. A-Class starts in the high 30s, while this CLA starts in the low 40s. So two affordable Mercedes models done two different ways, and also done your way. Tick the boxes on the equipment packages and add-ons you like. There are tons, even a night package, sport package, tech package, you name it. These packages are like the high-end toppings you can add to your favorite pizza for a few extra bucks. And with pretty much all of the boxes ticked, the tester on your screen comes in around 52,000 Canadian, though I might save you a few bucks on one of those packages right off the bat. More on that later. Still, beyond a pretty singular gripe I have with one part of how this machine drives, it stacks up as a great way to really feel like you're spoiling yourself. As an object, something you enjoy looking at, I love how the CLA's body sort of shrinks as you walk up to it. It seems bigger from a distance, and as you close in, you notice the low roof and the low windows and the sleek lines and the frameless doors and glass. It's that visual representation of the sport side of the sport luxury compact name. So even if you're like me and you're not a big fan of this two-door coupe design, you've got to appreciate, I think they've done a really good job with it here. Walking up to this car and getting inside is something pretty special. There's another cool touch here as you get in and get boarded and fire up the engine. You drop down low into your seat. It's a low-slung seating position like a sports coupe, but not scraping the road. As you get in, it's the shapes and textures and details that really grab your eye. But when you start it up, it's all about the lighting and the graphics. It's luxury at first glance, but then immediately so high-tech when you start the engine. Now, I'm a big nerd, so I love screens and trackpads and the way that these displays all animate fluidly to life in front of you and how they sort of float over the dash. You're surrounded by your own glowing high-tech control center. Oh, and make sure you bring a friend for your first nighttime drive. It is pretty cool. First, you notice the LED matrix headlights doing a little pre-drive warm-up, and the performance of those headlights is really good, by the way. It's lovely to watch them steer and bend the light around to give you a better view ahead. But the real showpiece after dark is the cabin, the way the ambient lighting pumps up the digital ambiance, strategically lighting the details like the inside of a powerful gaming PC. And so by night or by day, with the brushed aluminum and stitching taking center stage while the LED cabin lighting waits for the sun to go down, this cockpit feels authentically techy and modern and high-end. You can even customize the layout of the virtual instruments or the head-up display using touchpads on the steering wheel. And the graphics are fantastic and the screen is glossy and easy to read. When I was 10, this was the imaginary spaceship that I wanted to drive to school, and even if you weren't so much into having your own spaceship growing up, you'll still probably find the nighttime driving environment in here to be really pleasing. It's comfy up front for two average-sized adults, not cramped, not massive, and you feel like you're sitting deep within the car, surrounded by it, and sitting in the center of the action. Then you'll tap the shifter wand into gear. That's a little weird, but you'll get used to it. And next, pick the drive mode that best sets the powertrain up for your current intentions, and your wish is the 221 horsepower Turbo 4 engine's command. You get over 250 pounds of torque for that sharp throttle response and a very nicely mannered engine that's ready to hustle if you like. From just off idle to just beneath redline, there's a meaty power curve, easy access to plenty of thrust, and the engine sounds lovely when you work it, shifts with a quick breath between gears to keep things silky smooth, and moves the CLA along with plenty of punch, nothing too silly. It's all set up to be fun but fuel efficient too. The dual clutch transmission gives you 7 gears, 2 pedals, paddle shifters for up and down, and fully automatic operation by default. It's a sign of a sporty personality to the driveline here, though this type of transmission can feel a little clumsy at very low speeds, and this one does at times, though it does feel fantastic when you put your foot down. Shifts are careful, precise, and fast, and everything communicates, the throttle creating the best possible response from the transmission almost immediately, virtually every time. In simple terms, this car is very good at picking up on your vibe and translating it to a smooth and calculated response from the drivetrain. And the drive gives the CLA a unique character. The steering is light and quick for a playful and effortless feel that heavies up a notch or two in sport mode, encouraging the driver to feel out more of what's happening between the tires and the tarmac. It's effortlessly entertaining and a real treat to use on your favorite winding road. At times you'll need a steady hand to keep the steering input smooth. It can be a little sensitive at higher speeds, but carving corners with a light and lazy little flick of your wrist never gets old. And the suspension is a bit soft while you're just cruising, but that outer layer of softness firms right up when you get to leaning on it, so it basically corners better than I was expecting given the way it rides. Very nicely balanced. And especially on the highway, where it's not too stiff, not too soft, think medium soft luxury sports sedan and you're in the ballpark. On uneven roads, it's fairly relaxed and uneventful, though rough surfaces can coax out more noise and harshness than I like. Mostly, the ride comfort stands up nicely in most situations, but if the going gets fairly rough, some drivers will be wishing for less feedback from the suspension. Brakes provide plenty of clamping force once you dig into the pedal a little. This is a nearly startling level of bite during a panic stop. I thought I'd go through that seatbelt for a moment. When they're worked hard, these brakes feel great, but in around town driving, they are a little vague and numb right at the top of the pedal. That's a bit less precise than a sportier driver may like, but it does make it easier to work the brakes more smoothly. Room in back for an average-sized grown-up like me, but if you're any taller than about 5'10", you'll probably be just about out of headroom back here. I did feel fine up front where the CLA is sufficiently roomy for 2 adults. So in all, a driving machine with that authentic, high-end, highly calibrated driving feel, highly engaging technology laid out in an excellent-looking cabin, and all wrapped up in a delicious-looking outer shell and served with your choice of high-end toppings. Of those, I'd be giving second thought to the $1,900 Intelligent Drive package. It packs the very latest in outward-looking radar safety tech, but if you're not sold on that stuff yet, this might not change your mind. On at least 3 occasions during my 1,200-kilometer test drive, and always in a construction zone with the pylons and messy lane markings, the CLA did make some unrequired evasive maneuvers, basically false alarms that can be startling if you're not used to them. Let's finish with a few of my favorite handy little touches that come with this machine, like the hidden rear camera that you'll probably never have to clean, or seats that can be made to automatically shift their position beneath you just slightly every few moments as you drive. They make those slight readjustments to your seating position for you so you don't get as sore from sitting for a long time. And in back, they've even sprung the trunk to get up and out of your way immediately for quick and easy access. These are little touches, but in real life, as you get to know your new luxury car, they can become some of the most easy to appreciate. Ultimately, here's a car that offers many strengths, few weaknesses, and a really solid taste of a big dollar motoring experience without the big dollar price tag. Thanks for watching.